How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Anne Frank. Replacing carbon-sourced energy with cleaner energy is as good as any challenge in the world at this time to start. According to the United States Energy Information Administration, in 2021, about 80% of the electricity generated by utility-sized power plants in the United States was done through the burning of fossil fuels or the use of nuclear energy. In a world where it seems like the need for electricity is continually growing, we are still using methods of producing it that seem to be leading to the world's very destruction. Nationwide, only 19% of our electricity is generated by alternative methods such as hydroelectric, wind, and solar that do not contribute to global warming. Wouldn't it be great if we could come up with a new, non-polluting way to create substantially more electricity to add to this total at about the same cost? Nicer still, what if this new way to create electricity didn't have the need for any additional large above-ground infrastructures that typically create their own issues of habitat destruction? And how about if it could also create energy even when the sun wasn't shining, the wind wasn't blowing, and the lake was dry? You might be surprised to find out that there is such a method using compressed air. Yes, compressed air. An ordinary diesel electrical generator set like this one can be easily converted to run on compressed air only, and the residue left over from this air expansion process is plain air. The same air that goes into powering the generators comes out the other side. Compressed air can be stored for long lengths of time without degenerating. So if you make more than you need for on-demand use, you can store it up for later until you do need it. And unlike oil, coal, and natural gas, compressed air will not catch fire or explode if it should escape from its storage tanks and pipelines. So if you can figure out a way to compress air efficiently, day in and day out, no matter what the weather, you have then most likely discovered a way to generate electricity that is cleaner, safer, and more reliable than most of our other options. Our team leader has come up with a way to create compressed air using railroads that multitask so that they can help generate electricity at about the same cost as existing methods with none of the drawbacks. Moreover, much of the external infrastructure is already in place all over the country, located right next to where the demand for electricity is the greatest, our towns and cities. Our new technology uses patented air compression units that are attached every 5 inches to the inside of the railroad tracks. As the train travels down the tracks, the larger diameter inside portion of each train wheel presses down on the top of the air compression unit, compressing the air inside and forcing it out and into a series of pipes buried under the tracks. As soon as one set of train wheels has gone by, the spring-loaded air compression unit recovers its shape and refills with air before the next set rolls over it. The compressed air in the underground pipes is routed to a storage facility capable of handling large volumes of compressed air. At present, there are 2 main methods for storing large volumes of compressed air. One type is located underwater and utilizes large flexible storage bladders. The water helps maintain the air inside the bladder at a consistent predetermined pressure. The other type uses a combination of water and underground storage. The underground storage area can be a repurposed municipal water well, an abandoned mine, or a completely new underground storage area built to meet the need. The water for maintaining the consistent pressure can be a small man-made lake that is created nearby. Eventually, the compressed air will be routed to a bank of pneumatic motor generator sets where it will be used to generate electricity. Let's see how this system might be used to furnish the electricity needs for a typical American city of 100,000 residents. An average town of 100,000 residents would be comprised of around 40,000 households. To supply 40,000 households in our model city with 30 kilowatt hours of electricity per day, we would need to produce an average of 1.2 million kilowatt hours per day. Since a single diesel generator set that has been modified to run on compressed air can produce about 85,000 kilowatts per hour, we would need at least 18 modified generator sets in place to be able to meet the electrical power needs of our hypothetical city and 100,000 residents. To supply that many generators with compressed air at 330 pounds per square inch, we estimate that we would need to outfit around 12 miles of railroad track with our air compression technology. And there would need to be at least 24 trains of 50 cars each passing over the tracks in every 24-hour period, or some combination equaling the same number of wheel sets. Our calculations show that the extra burden of passing over our air compression units would cause the burning of between 5% and 22% more fuel during the time the train was doing the extra work, depending upon a variety of factors. A train of 50 fully loaded freight cars, weighing almost 7,000 tons, would normally burn 171 gallons of diesel as it passed over 12 miles of track. In a worst-case scenario, let's assume that as the train passes over our air compression system, it has to work 22% harder. That means each train will burn an additional 48 gallons of fuel as it passes over our tracks. Over a 24-hour period, at 1 train per hour, our system would compress enough air to create over 1.2 million kilowatt hours of electricity, while making the trains burn an additional 1,152 gallons of diesel fuel. In comparison, a coal-burning power plant would have to burn over 1 million pounds of coal to create the same amount of electricity. And a power plant running on natural gas would have to burn almost 9 million cubic feet of gas to create this much electricity. Now let's look at the savings in terms of carbon dioxide put into the atmosphere. Burning coal at the coal plant would add 2 million pounds of CO2 to our air per day. Burning natural gas at the natural gas plant would add 1,425,000 pounds of CO2 to the air. Burning the diesel fuel to make the same amount of electricity via railroad cogeneration would only add 26,000 pounds. That's 99% less than coal and 98% less than natural gas. And since compressed air power generation facilities can be safely located in the vicinity of cities, there won't be the need for hundreds of miles of ugly high-tension lines or their associated risk of starting dangerous wildfires. In the United States alone, there is over 233,000 miles of railroad track. If just 5% of that track were placed into railroad cogeneration service, we could create enough similar-sized power plants around the country to serve almost 100 million people. By doing so, we could significantly reduce the number of power stations currently running on coal or natural gas and take a big bite out of the amount of CO2 we have been putting into our atmosphere. So in conclusion, railroad cogeneration of electricity shows promise to be not only a profitable business, but also one that contributes mightily to the improvement of our world as well. Thank you for your time and consideration. If you are interested in finding out more about this revolutionary method of creating electricity, please contact us at the address shown.